Hello, my name is Maria Martinez. My presentation is going to be under children's thyroid cancer, and this presentation is for Biology 1409 with Mr. A. Herrera. I'm going to start with the first slide. Okay, my objective is going to be how to detect thyroid cancer in children. The right thyroid cancer center, what kind of thyroid cancer in children, what stage of cancer, because cancer has different stages. In children, there's actually about two types of cancers. What type of surgeon you're going to get. It's very important you get the correct surgeon because not everybody works the same. What kind of treatments you're going to get after your surgery, and also your insurance. Like what does your insurance cover? What does it not cover? Things like that. Okay. How to detect early signs of thyroid cancer. Um, with thyroid cancer, it's very hard sometimes with kids. The doctor usually finds like lumps in their necks, on the side of the neck, on the front of the neck, or when children start complaining that they can't swallow, or they're having trouble breathing, their body temperature changes, things like that. So when you go to the doctor, make sure that you get the proper diagnosis. Like either you're going to get your ultrasound, CT scan, MRI scans, and make sure that whoever's doing it, they're doing it correctly because this type of cancer is very easy for them not to detect it. It could be confused with like a fat lymph node, or it could be confused with other things. So it's very important that you choose the one correct that knows how to do it. My second slide is going to be what's the first how to first detect thyroid cancer. Okay, when you go to a pediatrician, they're going to check around your neck every time when you sit them down. The doctor gives you like a physical and they start touching your neck. That's the reason they touch it because kids, it's very high. It's a very high chance for kids to get thyroid cancer. It's very easy, but it's also very easy for them to misdiagnose. As you can see on this slide, they have to take like a biopsy to really tell you exactly what it is or what kind of cancer it is. And from that, after they do a CT scan, after they do an MRI scan, they do a CT scan just to double check, and also an ultrasound. The correct thyroid cancer center. After you're diagnosed with your cancer, it's very important that you choose a good doctor. Um, as you can see later on, I'm going to explain to you why I know so much about this type of cancer. The MD Anderson Children's Hospital in Houston, they're one of the best doctors in the world. Um, I did my research on it. I chose, I selected the doctors, the ones that were very on top of things, and the best one for to do children's surgeon, to be a surgeon, is Dr. Gary Clayman. Dr. Clayman, he's the number one of the world's best surgeons in the country. I'm talking about the world. This man is very smart, knows what he's doing. He has more than 900 surgeries that he's performed. Very, very smart, very educated man. He used to be in the Anderson Hospital, but now he's in Tampa, Florida. Now he has his own clinic. And after you do surgery, you have to choose your care, meaning like who's going to take care of the patient after surgery. One of the best doctors in the Anderson Hospital is Dr. Steve Wagesback. He's head of his department. Is an oncology doctor. He's the one who prescribes the medication, makes sure you're taking the correct treatment, everything like that. So for children, these two are the ones that are like top of everything. What kind of cancers are there for children? Different types of cancers in thyroid. Different kinds of children's thyroid cancer. I apologize. I'm sorry. Papillary carcinoma cancer, and the other one is follicular carcinoma. These are the two most common cancers that are diagnosed for kids when they tell them that they have thyroid cancer. As you can see, you know now why I know a lot about this cancer. My daughter, Lucero Martinez, she was diagnosed in March 2, 2016, with a follicular stage 3 cancer. My daughter was diagnosed. I went all over the place. That's the reason that I chose Dr. Gary Clayman, because he was the number one surgeon in the world. I wanted the best for my daughter, and I didn't care where it was. I didn't care, how much it was going to cost. Right when your daughter is or your child is diagnosed with cancer, you just want to get the best care ever. That's why I chose Dr. Gary Clayman. Dr. Gary Clayman. He was the one who diagnosed my daughter in May 26, 2016. That was her first appointment to see him. And the surgery took place on June 27, 2016, at the Anderson Hospital. Very quick story. Dr. Gary Clayman, I did not know who he was. I live in the Valley, Rio Grande Valley. My pediatrician, Dr. Mata, he sent me to this other ENT doctor. His name is Eugene Mackey. He was not a cancer doctor. I did not know my daughter had cancer to begin with. After he told me that my daughter had a tumor, we did the biopsy. I did not want to do any surgery with him. I went back to my pediatrician. He told me to go to San Antonio. He made me an appointment to San Antonio to see this doctor called Dr. Christopher York. I did not take him because this doctor was not board certified or not even a cancer doctor. From there, my pediatrician was able to give me an appointment with Dr. Gary Clayman. And from there, he's only a surgeon. He's not a doctor that you're going to go see regularly. The only time you're going to see Dr. Clayman is when you have a surgery. That's it. When you go back, the only doctor you're going to see is going to be Dr. Wagasback. And on this slide, I wanted to show you, I wanted to prove to you that Dr. Gary Clayman, he was my daughter's surgeon. I emailed him because I wanted to get my daughter's video to post it, on this PowerPoint, but I was supposed to get it from the MD Anderson, and I didn't get it done on time. But here you can see Dr. Gary Clayman, who he's responded back and told me that I needed to talk to her. I needed to get a hold of the MD Anderson Hospital to get approved. I apologize again, I stutter a lot. Dr. Steve Wagesbach, he's a pediatrician oncologist. He's the one that we go see every 6 months when we go to Houston. He's the one who does all the lab work. He's the one who prescribes the right medication. And because of him and because of what my daughter was going through, she sees her regular psychologist. She has to go see a psychologist because after cancer, you go into depression. You don't feel right. So talking to her psychologist, which is Dr. Delma Ramos in McAllen, she's an amazing doctor. She has helped her go through everything, make this transitioning very easy. So having a head doctor is very important. In this slide, we're going to talk about the difference about the two type of cancers that a child is diagnosed with. And this one, you're going to see the papillary carcinoma cancer. This is a slow-growing type of cancer. It only grows in the lymph nodes around the neck. So this one, you're never going to find it anywhere else. As you can see in the picture, wherever it's formed, it stays there. The one my daughter was diagnosed with, the follicular carcinoma, that one is a little bit more tricky. That one, it stays there in the lymph nodes, but also likes to travel. I actually like to travel to the lungs or the bones. So that's why it's very important that I keep track of her symptoms, have a chart for it, make sure that if anything hurts, I call a doctor. I'm always keeping track with him. These are a type of cancers that exist. The first stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. My daughter had stage 3. It was a point where she was not eating anymore. She was having trouble breathing. She was having trouble swallowing. She was having trouble just even talking, swallowing, anything that had to do with the esophagus. It was very hard for her to deal with. Here I uploaded the video. I went to to Dr. Clayman's profile, his website, and I was able to find a video similar to what the one my daughter had. As you can see to my left, this is a picture of the thyroid mass, how they take it out. This is the size of the mass, and on the other side you can see the video. This is the process exactly what my daughter went through. So they started with the left thyroid and they stopped and they went to tell us that they couldn't save her thyroid because the cancer was already too aggressive. So they had to remove all her thyroid. And this one, what do you expect after surgery. After you have a surgery, type of surgery, especially when it's cancer, you can only eat certain things. You have to have a certain diet. You have to take certain medication. My daughter takes um, Synthroid for the rest of her life. That's a medicine that she's taking 100 milligrams right now. She reacts to it because sometimes her body reacts. Either she doesn't eat or she eats too much. She sleeps all day, so I need to keep track of that because it's going to be a life changing thing. So either sometimes they give her a higher doses or they give her a lower doses, but it's something she has to take for the rest of her life. Insurance. Personally, I have the Blue Cross Blue Shield because my husband, he worked for a company, an electrical lines, so they work for a company that has a union. So our insurance is different, maybe compared to everybody else. So out of all the treatment that my daughter's taking, some things sometimes are covered, some are not. So I always have to be fighting for the insurance to get approval. My copayment is too high. Right now we have it at $2,000 that we have to cover every year. Sometimes it doesn't cover medication, so I have to fight with them to make sure that she has the correct medication. Make sure my benefits are there. Make sure that we met the copayment before we even go to the hospital. Also, and after surgery, she had to have a nurse make sure that it covered her short-term disability. We have to keep, you have to look at every single thing. Expenses, make sure you have enough money to travel. Me, I have to travel to Houston. I have to make sure we save every 6 months that we go. Make sure at work, I'm a coach. So I have to make sure that they give me time off. My daughter has to have approval from school. Make sure that her appointments are in the summer so it won't affect her. I have to look out for hotels, make sure I get deals, make sure I have money for my gas, my food. It's not just me, it's my kids too. This was my presentation. This is my conclusion. I really don't want to read it out, but maybe reading it, I don't stutter too much. Children with thyroid cancer, it's one of the world's fastest growing cancer up to right now. It's not an aggressive cancer, but it's very common in kids now. So scientists are always keeping track of it, making sure that that it's diagnosed within time. And one thing I always tell everybody, whenever I talk to somebody that's going through cancer, please make sure that whoever's doing your test, whoever's doing all your lab work, whoever's doing your MRI, that they're qualified to do it. Here in the Valley, I'm sorry, but I went through a very hard experience that all my daughter's pathology work was bogus. We paid money that all her tests had to be done again. Just please pay very close attention to that. Make sure that you're getting the proper care, that your sibling or friend, anybody that's going through cancer, um, gets a doctor that's board certified, that knows what they're doing, that has experience doing it. My daughter was number 3 patient for Dr. Gary Clayman. He's one of the top surgeons in the world. Her cancer was very uncommon for him while he did that several years ago. So just make sure you get a good doctor and make sure that you know that they know what they're doing, that they understand what they're doing, and they give you the correct information. And if you don't know, ask. Always ask. I asked everything I learned from all the experience, all these 3 years, and you just have to learn. You become yourself a little doctor. So the more you learn, the more you're able to help your daughter. Oh, I'm sorry, me. The more I learn, the more I'm able to help my daughter understand her body moves, her body changing as she gets older. She's 17, so is this something that she's going to live with for the rest of her life? And it's up to us to keep her healthy. Right now she's in remission. She still needs 2 more years to go. So this concludes my presentation. I apologize for my stuttering.